Hey yo! What's goody, everybody? Today's topic: finding your why. This can be about your dreams, your aspirations, or just how to get through today. So we're going over what, where, and how to find your why today. Today's three focuses is what matters, persistence, and tenacity. So now that we're live, let's dive. Point number one: inspiration. Items on the surface are too light. They don't carry any weight. It takes something from deep within in order for it to be great. It starts in your heart. Shannon Sharpe, NFL Hall of Famer, media personality, successful business owner from rural South Georgia. He speaks glowingly about his family all the time. And he says how even though they were poor growing up, it was their resolve that showed them how to conquer it all, even when it got tough. When he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he shared this beautiful story with his grandma in which he asked her, "What do you want? Because I can get you anything now." She simply responded with a decent home. He thought about it, and then he asked her, "What do you mean by that?" So she said, "I want to go to bed one night. I want God to let it rain as hard as he possibly can all night and wake up and not be wet." Something that so many of us take for granted, she viewed would be a dream come true. Something so small that others blossomed in his heart and inspired him to go out and do. So that leads me to the first key of influence. Because while one person's only influenced by outside objects, the other person's influenced from within. Just thinking about items, whether it's money, cars, apartment, or a house, if you're complacent with societal norms, none of those things will ever sprout. And if you're just thinking about your job or your career, if you're only motivated by success, your true goals will never appear. Sure, you might get a little progress, you may even get a promotion, but while this person is pondering what's next, this guy has set their dreams into motion because they've devoted time and they've invested time to figure out what's within, whether that's through prayer or meditation, to ensure their inspiration will never bend. Whether it's family trying to attain generational wealth, or they have identified their faith so they want to be better versions of themselves. Or it could be missionary work or doing things for a charitable cause, devoting their time to others, something for the betterment of us all. They're seeking a source from within. They've identified their light. That way, their inspiration can withstand any fight. So then the final key is depth, because while one person's is shallow, the other person is deep. And let's be honest, if there's no deep meaning to it, it'll easily be deterred, especially in our lives, because life is hard, it's rough, and it's unpredictable. So many things can happen, whether it's just consistent failures or injuries, or it could be an unforeseen sickness or death in the family. Because while one person is struggling through times of adversity, this person's resolve is gritty. They get through those tough times. There's no reproach. Firm in their inspiration, they have a stoic approach. After all, that's what's helped Shannon Sharpe progress so much in his life. He says, "My purpose in life is to provide for my family." That dedication has driven him to where he's supposed to be. That's what leads me to point number two. Point number two, commitment. Finding your why isn't as easy as 1, 2, 3. It has to be tested to ensure it's a guarantee. It starts with work ethic. The Rock, collegiate athlete, WWE, to movie star, now business mogul. He's been successful in so many aspects of his life. But none of that may have never happened if it wasn't for this moment in 1995. He says, 1995, $7 in my pocket. I knew two things. I'm broke as hell, and one day I won't be. A realization of his situation helped foreshadow his success and his final destination. That's what leads me to point number one, being tested. Because when one person would fall off track, the other person stays on track. And this is all centered around life. Because as we discussed earlier, life is set on a hard difficulty. Regardless of the different starting points we all have, we each have our own unique controversies. But meanwhile, this person becomes braver and they're consistently on attack. Never settling for any contingencies, they never turn their back. And then when we become mentally drained or tired, we may say, I need a break. This person stays persistent and says, I'm going to accomplish something today. And then when we have a long-term setback, whether that be an injury or a season-ending outcome, this person decides to stay focused, and they understand that quitting is their only loss because they're not deterred by the outcome. They understand if I just stay focused, I will eventually finish number one. So then the final key is shift. When we have a big shift in our life, these people will break. But the person over here understands the situation and they decide to upgrade. And this is when we've been striving for our aspirations or our dreams and we come up short, or we have an unexpected setback that deters us from our path. For example, in a sport, we play basketball or football and we don't make it to the pros. We just regret everything and we don't know where to go. And then we go and shift our careers towards a job. But then after 2 or 3 years, we realize, man, this isn't for me. I feel like a flop. And I'm the perfect example of that. Because when I was younger, especially in high school, when in college, I defined my life with basketball. Defined my life through that. And I didn't make it. I didn't fulfill my dreams. I honestly just felt like my life was a lie. And then when I got my job, I never enjoyed sales and I regretted my degree. It felt like a double blow. I felt like life was just over for me. With no true inspiration, out of nowhere, God shined a light in my eyes. Blinded by his presence, I knew, man, that's how I want to devote my time. I realized what I went through, I had to learn something each and every step. He put me in all those situations through life's prep. And I know that's true because as The Rock also says, I like to use hard times in the past to motivate me today. So I'm moving just like him, staying committed to my craft in each and every way. So that's what leads me to point number 3. Point number 3, consistency. Consistency is the key once you found your engine. Stay poised, stay present, stay focused on your invention. It starts with awareness. Katie Ledecky is the most decorated U.S. female Olympian of all time, with 13 medals and 8 of them gold, and she holds the 20 fastest 1500 meter swims. Even with all the success, she's not driven by success. Instead, she's driven by a desire to consistently be her best. She says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Regardless of the result, we get to determine what we do now, which leads to the first key, complacency. Because while one person's inspiration fades, the other person's inspiration is adaptable and ever-changing. After all, if we're striving for an object that has no roots, once we acquire it, we lose sight of what's next to pursue. Our drive dwindles. Instead, this person's drive continues to rekindle because their inspiration is rooted in their being. It's not their reward. Their personal success is the affirmation that they adore. So then the final key is you. While one is engulfed in themselves, the other one is appreciating what they do. After all, if you're just focused on the reward, you're going to lose sight of the bigger picture. Now with a narrow-minded view, they're only focused how to get there quicker. Instead, they need a switcher because consistently clamoring for what's next, instead the person over here is celebrating the work they put in for their success. Because it doesn't matter what everyone else did, positivity uplifts. So they're celebrating the accomplishments and the hard work they put in. That's the gift. Katie Ledecky says, the road to success is paved with determination and a never give up attitude. So stay focused on you, your craft, and soar into a new altitude. So in conclusion, remember these 3 things. Point number 1, inspiration. Be inspired by something inside you. Point number 2, is commitment. Go out there and do what you want to do. Then point number 3 is consistency. Keep relighting that fire and keep rekindling. Those 3 are the keys to finding your why. From one witness to another, you are special. Hook out.